Welcome to Devs Talk Live, brought to you by FitAid. I'm Zena, Keita. This is Dalton Johnson. And folks at home, slow clap. The streak is broken. The Warriors won on the road. This narrative of the Warriors and their road woes, the worst thing I've been able to say all season, has ended. Warriors beat the Houston Rockets 121-108 and are now back in the 6th spot in the Western Conference. We know that can change any day. Now, Coach Kerr actually said that this was the worst game out of the 4 that they've played on the road so far. What'd you make of it, Dalton?
Yeah, I actually like that he is holding this team accountable. You can't have 20 turnovers that account for 25 points for the Rockets when this is an 18-win team full of teenagers and a team that's praying for Victor Wembanyama right now, right? I mean, this is a team that's their hope right now is a top pick in the draft. Right. Not trying to get out of the play-in, into the playoffs, anything like that. So it's the carelessness. It's the fact that they did have their first it was the first time that they had the lead after the first quarter on the road since February 2nd. Crazy stat to think about.
Yeah, that's insane.
But then they go into that second quarter and it's turnover, miss three, 9 turnovers in the second quarter. So it's just the fact that you can't keep the consistency. Right. And so I want Coach Kerr to do that to the Warriors after this. Yeah, sure. Celebrate the win. Be happy that the streak is finally over. But also understand how important each game is, each quarter is, each minute, each possession, right? Because it has felt like all season that hasn't been the case for the Warriors, that it could feel that important for one possession, but not the next. Right.
And let's talk about the person that definitely felt like it was important, even almost playing through injury, right? Steph Curry poured in 30 points. Did that, still not scoring in the first quarter. I mean, he was all over the court, and he's been carrying this offensive load a lot this season. Tonight, it seemed like he sparked a lot more than just points, though. What did you make of this game?
I just thought the fact that, he did the will to win. I mean, how many times have we said that? It is stating the obvious, but it's the fact that Steph Curry knows they can't lose this game. They can't lose to this team on the road right now, even if he's scoreless after the first quarter. He also, then in the second quarter, comes alive. He has 15 points in that second quarter alone. After going 0 for 3 in that first quarter and missing both of his three-pointers, then he was 5 for 9 in the second quarter, 3 for 5 from deep. And then I'm sure we're going to talk about it more, but he, of course, had all of Dub Nation holding his breath in that third quarter. Right. What does he do in the fourth quarter? 11 points, seals the game with that late three-pointer, game over. Steph Curry time, as I've said time and time again, is winning time.
I love Steph Curry time. And both quarters, third and fourth, he comes out and scores the first bucket. Like, what a will to win, as you mentioned. He's at the podium right now. We'll see what he had to think about this game tonight.
How's it feel to finally get a win on the road?
It feels good. It's one of those feelings like this is what you're supposed to do. But yeah, just to walk off the court with a couple more smiles on our faces and something to show for it. We know we still have to play better. Like, nobody's really celebrating, anything. It's just a matter of learning lessons and wins, hopefully, and getting ready for, another big game Wednesday. How the what? Oh yeah, I'm fine.
Guessing you're just fine, but what did you like about the way your team finished the game?
I mean, we were having 14 turnovers in the first half was rough. We could never really create enough separation. And then second half, we were a little bit more mindful. I think we only had 4 turnovers, and got decent shots. We didn't make as many as we wanted to, but we got stops, ran in transition, played pretty disciplined. They made a little run. We got a little sloppy for 2 minutes there down the stretch, but got back to good offense, connecting the game. Klay hits a big shot. Remember somebody else hit a shot, but it was just mindful basketball that, we needed to finish strong.
Other than turnovers, now see the stats, what else stands out on that?
That's the first thing I looked at was I knew we had 14 turnovers in the first half and finished with 18. We know we need to cut that down, but to only have 4 in the second half is great. 31 assists, which is Warrior basketball. So continue to be mindful about that. And then we rebounded pretty well. They still, had 13 offensive rebounds, but I think if I watch the film, I'm pretty sure we have our antennas up a lot more consistently, when the shot goes up to try to find bodies, knowing, they're a pretty athletic team and they have at least 4 guys crashing the glass every possession.
Here, given your previous series against Houston, is there any kind of special feeling when you come play here, or is it one of 30 arenas for you?
Certain ones stand out because you've had battles here before. I know it's a different team, but our first championship run, we came through here, and that was 9 years ago. So and we've had obviously a lot more battles. So definitely brings back the memories of those back and forth, and knowing it's different, there's still a little charm about it for sure.
You talked about playing mindful basketball and Draymond Green, so that the focus in the first half was pathetic, in his words. What do you guys need to do to be able to connect it for the entire 48 minutes, or is it just different in the regular season, the level of focus you need for it?
I mean, it shouldn't be because of where we're at. It keeps just going back to we just have to do it. Like every team comes in, every coach has their way of saying kind of the same thing. These are the keys offensively, defensively. This is the game plan against this specific team. And then we have to go execute it. And then whoever does that more usually puts themselves in better positions to win. It's not saying you're going to win every game. Shots go in and out, ball bounces certain ways, but the things that you can control are tough when you don't do it, because you're usually better than how you're playing, and there's a frustration level that comes with not being able to execute the simple stuff. So, I don't use that pathetic word, but it's like you want to play better, and we talked about it at halftime, and we're gonna have to if we're gonna try to do anything this year.
Great, thank you.
That's right. And if they're going to do anything this year, Steph is going to need some help on the offensive side. Tonight, Klay Thompson, his fellow Splash brother, was helping him make it rain out in Houston. 29 points for Klay Thompson, but also 7 rebounds, 5 assists. I feel like they were magical tonight. Steph had 4 assists, assisting on 12 points with Klay, shooting from 3. I mean, I absolutely love the connection between each other. But threes weren't their number one thing. As you can see from this play, they were making it happen all around the court. What'd you make of them being able to connect tonight beyond just shooting from beyond the arc?
Well, I feel like those two players can close their eyes and know where they are. That's how Draymond Green is too, obviously, right? With that big three, with their connection, you spend over a decade together. You just have this innate feel for each other, right?
Yeah.
So I think when we even just look at some of the highlights right there, to see the way that Klay's driving to the hole also too, he had multiple dunks tonight. He did get swatted away one time. It was tough.
You don't have to
It
bring it
happens.
up.
It happens to everybody, right?
Yep.
But I love to see his overall evolution, obviously, right? And the way he can be multifaceted as a scorer instead of just a spot-up shooter, because he's going to go down as one of the greatest shooters of all time. We already know that. The picture-perfect form is always going to be there. But if he can also finish towards the rim right there, he had a really nice mid-range jumper near the end of the game there, too. That just opens up everything else for himself and the Warriors as a whole.
For sure. And particularly with him and Steph, again, the two of them are just so connected and offensively, but when one's on the court, it does take away defensive attention, right? And so that opens up things for the other, whatever it is. Steph was finding lanes left and right, and I think it's because with Klay on the floor and he's spotted up in a corner, you can't afford to help off, and that gives him a little bit of space. Klay's at the podium. Let's see what he had to say about tonight's game.
Well, it feels really good. And we have a chance to do it again on Wednesday and really right the ship from this trip. But it's nice to snap an ugly streak like that. That's gross.
What are the keys to making sure you guys can carry on this into
Wow, not a sellout. I would say the keys would be defend without fouling, being very sure with the ball and limiting turnovers, being connected, and above all, have fun.
What worked for you guys in the fourth that kind of allowed you to create some separation?
I think we didn't foul, and when we can just get the ball off the rim and go, it opens up everything for us. And then on top of that, we had some great shot making from Anthony Lamb and Big K, who made a nice mid-range move, and Steph obviously doing his thing. But yeah, those were the probably big components of fourth quarter surge.
I mean, all the games are important, but like Dallas specifically, that's the tiebreaker on the line. Just how do you guys add?
Well, as a competitor, you relish in the moments of the most important games, and we're coming down to the home stretch, and every game is so vital for our playoff stakes, and it's exciting times. I mean, the postseason, there's nothing like it, and these, last 7 or 8 will be a great warm up for the most competitive basketball out there.
Did you see a difference in the Rockets this time from when you guys played them before earlier in the season?
Not really, but it is strange looking over there and how young their team is. The Rockets I was used to playing in the 2010s were seasoned vets all littered throughout that roster, and obviously James is one of the best players in their franchise's history, and they brought on CP too. They had such a great team that almost knocked us off, and I had a lot of respect for those Rockets teams, and now I just feel old playing these young bucks. I think Jabari Smith's like 19 years old, and it makes me feel very appreciative to still be out here and still repping the Warriors and playing a whole new team that obviously has a lot of upside and incredibly young team, but they hopefully will stick together for a while. Nice. Heads up.
There it goes.
Oh, there she goes.
Wow.
And there's the paper airplane. Dalton, I feel old watching them. Because I remember that series, especially in 2018 and 2019, how competitive it was. Eric Gordon, Chris Paul, James Harden. I mean, it was rough out there. You would have thought that was the true finals with that. And like he said, young bucks. 19, 20, 21, 22. Absolutely insane.
We talk about the Warriors and the Grizzlies rivalry. The Warriors and Rockets, that was a real rivalry. It was two veteran stars. Oof. I mean, two teams full of veteran stars going at each other for one common goal. So I mean, that was to me a true rivalry. It was year after year after year. It was always building. So that was basketball at its best. It was a lot of fun to watch back in those days.
Dylan Brooks should watch that back on like NBA Classic. Anyways, we'll be back. We're going to talk about how the bench helped the Warriors get this win tonight in Houston when we get back on Dubs Talk Live.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by FitAid Clean Energy and Sports Recovery, the energy drink for athletes. FitAid Energy is naturally sweetened with only 15 calories, no sucralose, no aspartame, and no compromises.
Hi, YouTube friends. We are seeing your comments. Thank you for joining us on this Monday night. Yes, we got to win, folks. We got to win. I'm so excited. There are a lot of questions for you. Maybe you might know some updates. Any updates on GP2 or Andre?
Well, I mean, Andre Iguodala, he's bracing to get that surgery for his left
Okay.
his left
When
wrist.
is that?
I mean, they said I think that it would be within a week after the news came out. So, again, I'm sure that there has to be some variables that they have to go over to get the exact date. All that stuff goes, as far as medically. And then GP2, the next update should be very, very soon. I mean, we're seeing him do more and more on the court before these games. So obviously trending in the right direction. And they just hope that he can string together a handful, of games before the play-in and the playoffs, whatever they might be. But to get him for a consistent stretch would be huge for him, for the Warriors, obviously, but also for him to feel that endurance, to feel that, get it back under his belt. So I think even if it's 4 or 5 games, 3 or 4 games, that'll be so big for him.
For sure. I can't imagine not playing for so long. not only with the team that you're on now, but just physically,
Yes.
and then being thrown in the playoffs.
And don't be seen as a savior. And I
Yeah.
think
Oh,
I
that's
think
a lot of pressure, too.
I think
Yeah.
that's the big difference is the expectations. Go out there and play your game. You know the system, but you can't rely on GP2 to fix every defensive
Right.
problem in the world
Right.
by any means. They just need to go out there and give him short stretches here and there and be the disruptor that he is on the defensive end.
For sure, for sure. I know you guys are talking about Jordan Poole in these comments. We're going to talk about him in the bench play. Didn't score much, but assisted on a lot. So. Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Fit Aid Energy. We are talking about this win. The streak is broken. The Warriors have won on the road, and we can thank the bench for that. This is the second time now in this on this road game streak that the Warriors bench has outscored the other bench, the opponent. So this time, 38-20, 6 of 15 from three, 100% from the free throw line. Just doing it all over the place, playing good defense. What did you see from the bench tonight?
That starts with Jonathan Kuminga. I think we're continuing to see the evolution of a 20-year-old who has superstar potential.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is that potential, that word can be used the wrong way at times. It can be scary at times. But now the production is meeting the potential more and more. We see the efficiency for him going 7 for 9 from the field tonight. 17 points in 26 minutes off the bench. And it's not like it's just once in a blue moon anymore now, right?
Yeah, it's
the
consistent.
last 3 games, he's averaged 17 points while shooting over 54% from the field. And I think that's what's going to be so big for him and the Warriors is that he makes the game easier. He slows it down for himself.
Yep.
The athleticism he brings is just a different element to this Warriors team. You get out, you can push the pace with him. You're not going to stop that as an opposing defense. So the more he makes the game easier for himself with the athleticism, with the mid-range game, it's continuing to be really fun to watch the evolution of a 20-year-old.
Yeah, especially someone that hasn't played a lot of formal basketball and he's still learning the game. One of my favorite plays tonight was he came in, I think it was Draymond Green in the third or fourth quarter, was trying to throw him a lob. He was there for the lob but wasn't balanced. Gets down, grabs it with 2 hands, kicks it out for a 3. I mean, like, even the assist game and being able to innately know where your teammates are on the floor, so much fun to see him develop that ability to not only score, be in the right positions, but also get his teammates involved.
Well, not too long ago, that would have, in his mind, have to be some crazy highlight.
Yeah, right.
Or like, and
he
might
would try
have,
to force it, maybe.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? So now it's, I'm going to come down, I'm going to settle myself, find the right pass, and everything is going to be okay. So, again, it's the right plays that he's making over and over. The consistency is exactly what Jonathan Kuminga is producing on the floor right now.
And then, not to mention, so obviously one of the biggest things that people have been talking about is Jordan Poole needs to produce offensively. But there are more ways to produce than just dropping buckets. You can drop dimes. 8 assists tonight for Jordan Poole.
Well, it was also when those 8 assists came. It was the fact that he was doing this in the fourth quarter. You look at someone who has 5 points, 1 for 8 from the field, you're not going to assume a plus 13 and plus minus, right?
Yeah.
But he had opportunities in the fourth quarter where he could maybe chuck a 3-pointer or force a tough shot. He wasn't doing that anymore.
Yeah.
He was using his speed, using athleticism, and then finding a nifty pass or even just a smart pass. Even like those hockey assists that he gets at times, where it's just the right pass to keep the flow going.
Yep.
That was way more obvious from Jordan tonight. And it was when it mattered. It was the fourth quarter. So, again, you can stare at the box score and see 5 points. You can see 1 for 8. You can see 1 for 6. But the plus 13 met the eye test in the fourth quarter. So that's something that I think when you watch the film, Steve Kerr can show Jordan Poole this and go, this is how you can still be a winning impact player while scoring 5 points. That should go a long way for someone who is obviously a score-first player.
For sure. 8 assists leading to 20 points. That is contribution. That is what you need out of your point guard. Now, this is what Steve Kerr was talking about. The game wasn't perfect. Steph Curry said the game wasn't perfect. We're not going out here, cheering. I did a slow clap, but it was a slow clap, folks. It wasn't a fast clap. It wasn't a lot of applause and all the above. There were some things that weren't great, and that is why this game was so close. Turnovers, missed layups. Like, what was contributing to all of this? Was it fatigue? Was it age? I mean, Draymond got beat to the basket a few times, but he said his body's feeling good. What did you see out there?
I think just the up and down of this season, whether it's trying to get up for a game or whether it is fatigue, all of this. Look, again, we know that the Rockets, they're a young, long team, athletic team, obviously. So they're going to come out with a ton of energy. They have nothing to lose against the defending champions. But the Warriors have to find a way to be able to match that night in and night out, right? Fatigue can't be, I know it's hard to say fatigue can't be an excuse when you're this far into the season.
Yeah.
But when you're where the Warriors are in the standings, it better not be an excuse.
Yeah.
when you have this championship medal, this championship pedigree, that can't be an excuse anymore.
Right.
When you know how important everything is, no more excuses, right? So I think that they really regrouped after that tough second quarter.
Sure.
And you saw the difference in that second half. It still wasn't fully consistent.
Right.
I mean, it was the fourth quarter and they're up by 13, 15. And it's like, all right, cool. This is the time. Take your foot off the pedal a little bit. Maybe get Steph Curry a breather. The next thing you know, it's like, oh my gosh, it's about to be single digits again. So that's just the fact that there's nothing easy in the NBA, but there's nothing easy with the Warriors on the road this season. And this was another example. They got the win, but was it easy? No,
not at all. It definitely is a roller coaster ride, it feels like, with them, especially on the road. And I also feel like maybe this could be the switch over as they come back, right? They're about to end their road game, but they've got some big games coming up. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But before we close out this portion about, the fatigue and all the above, you remember what Klay Thompson said as to what got him up?
That's right. He was saying that he was thinking about the 2018 Rockets and everything. So he found a way to get himself motivated. Now the rest of the Warriors, they need to follow Klay in that sense. Keep finding that inner motivation.
All right, we'll be back on Dubs Talk Live. We'll talk about these big games coming up for the Warriors.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Fit Aid Clean Energy and Sports Recovery, the energy drink for athletes. Fit Aid Energy is naturally sweetened with only 15 calories, no sucralose, no aspartame, and no compromises.
All right. I love this. Kuminga is a future All-Star. I believe it. I believe it.
When potential and production are really starting to meet each other, and it's not like this anymore. It's getting closer and closer to hitting that even point. I mean, you got to be able to see it, right?
Yeah.
He's just not forcing things anymore like he used to. It's not all have to be a between the legs dunk and crazy that, and trying to out dribble by any means. It's way more of that 0.5 basketball that Steve Kerr talks about all the time, where it's, I'm going to see it. If I don't see it, time to move it on.
Yeah.
All right, but use your athletic traits that are going to make everything so much easier for him. I just love seeing the mid-range game from him too.
Oh yeah.
We know the dunks are there. We know the speed's there. But when he just makes those easy mid-ranges like that, again, as a defender, it's like, okay, now what do I do? It's a pick your poison situation.
Right. I think, though, I'll speak from the G League perspective.
Okay.
Kuminga is from G League Ignite. This is where he spent time getting reps, getting opportunities. The G League is really predicated on, I've got to show out for when NBA scouts are in the building. So it is a score first type of mentality a lot of the times, unless you've got a coach that can really, drill in. This is a team sport still. You still need to find a way to produce in other ways than just scoring buckets. But G League Ignite, there's a bunch of superstars on that team. So they're all trying to do those high fly dunks, those moves that show their athleticism. So I can imagine why he thought, or it has that not even pressure, but just that nice feeling of, I need to be doing something special.
Of course, I mean,
that's where he's coming from.
A top prospect, a top pick.
Yeah.
So of course, that's who you think you are. I'm a star. I need to show it, but it comes with time in the NBA.
Yeah. All right, we'll join you back on Dubs Talk Live. All right, welcome back. We are looking at the Western Conference standings. Golden State moved up 1 spot to the 6th. They are now out of the play-in for now, but they're only a half game out, right? And this is the West. This is the wild, wild West. As we have continued to say, I mean, it is consistently changing every single day. Only 2 games back from Phoenix, 1.5 games back from the Clippers, and they've got Dallas coming up. They've got Minnesota coming up. I mean, Dalton, what's going to happen here?
It's all right there on the plate for them, right? So it's up to them. It's not up to anybody else. I will say tonight was another night where the Grizzlies actually helped them out with that win over the Mavs.
That's true.
But it has to come down to them.
Now, this is what's interesting. The Warriors have Dallas coming up, but it's just been tweeted Kyrie Irving was in a walking boot. And knowing that duo of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic both being out potentially could be something that helps the Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, look, Luka and Kyrie together are absolutely dynamic duo offensively, of course, but they haven't been able to play a lot together since that trade happened because of injuries and because of reasons for being away from the team, all of that. So their chemistry hasn't been perfect by any means. We know that they're individually great. We know that they can obviously have these big time performances, put up huge numbers, but if either one of them is out, that opens so much for the Warriors, for their defense. So that's something to, of course, keep your eyes on going forward. We know the injuries that have plagued the Warriors this season, and that's just kind of the NBA as a whole right now. So obviously something to monitor going forward.
For sure. So the Mavericks are also fighting to get out of the play-in. So you can tell that game's going to be really intense. Lots of physicality probably. Then the 76ers, they're on the complete opposite end of the spectrum here. Number 2 in the East, but they're still trying to make sure that they keep that position and maybe can get that first playoff spot, And then Minnesota, Anthony Edwards out with that ankle as well. They're looking to get out of the play-in as well. This is a big time lineup they've got coming up here. 3
huge games. Obviously, I think that Dallas and Minnesota are what sticks out the most because of the Western Conference standings. But also that 76ers game. This is a team with a MVP candidate in Joel Embiid. This is a team who wants to finally prove that they can get over that edge and be a true contender. So it's 3 teams that the Warriors can really kind of look themselves in the mirror and go, where do we fit truly against a real contender and against teams in the West that are fighting for position. So again, I've just said that it's on the plate for them. It's up to them. And now they have the chance to do it, finishing on the road before they come back home.
That's right. So let's see if they can close out with a game that Coach Kerr actually appreciates and likes in comparison to what he saw tonight. But it was a win. The road streak has been broken. Hopefully they can start a new streak, maybe a 2-0 or on the road for moving forward, and then also coming back home to try and get the next few games there too. So thank you so much for joining us for Dubs Talk Live. Zena, Keita here, Dalton Johnson. We appreciate you joining. The Warriors won on the road, folks. Good night. Awesome. All right. So, Kyrie in a boot.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean,
and Doncic with the thigh strain, right?
Contusion, yep.
Contusion, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I never want to be excited about an NBA player getting hurt. That's not the case
of course not. But as you said, any kind of opportunity that the Warriors can have, they have to be able to take advantage of it. This was an opportunity against a young 18-win team. They had to take advantage of it. Was it for all 4 quarters? No, which is why Steve Kerr is frustrated. But they came out with the win. So this is going to be a tougher matchup no matter what in Dallas. They have history there in the playoffs. We know it's going to be a loud, wild environment. But any opportunity that they have to take advantage of, they have to get it done. And this is their next chance.
I'm excited now to see what happens. Especially, I'm not excited for the injuries. I mean more so, now they have a win on the road. 8th win on the road. What will this change the tide? Right? Will this make them go, what have we been doing?
Yeah, you would hope that the veterans, that Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, the message was sent after the game also. Hey, we got it done. The monkey's off our back, but it's time to really engage. There's no more messing around,
That's a really
guys.
great way to put it.
So whether it's the youngsters, whether it's veterans, you want to see a complete team for a complete game, put it together on the road before they come back to the friendly confines of Chase Center.
Oh, and Chase Center's so friendly. All right, guys, we appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Win. So exciting. I mean, that's just like the bottom line. The rest of the country is going to be talking about this tomorrow, about just we finally broke the streak. The win's a win, guys. A win's a win. So Warriors back at Dallas. Yeah, what day is that? Why am I forgetting what day that
Wednesday.
is? Wednesday, thank you. Wednesday, Warriors are at Dallas, potentially trying to beat the Mavericks without Kyrie and Luka. We'll see what they do. Can they keep the road wins going? All right, have a great night, everyone.